Welcome everyone, this is the Tekken 8 Azucena Basics Guide. With Azu, you can expect a shifty character with overwhelming pokes and counter hit tools to keep opponents at bay. But she's also one that can be in the opponent's face in an instant and hammer away with nasty mix-ups. She is ultimately a surprisingly versatile and dangerous character. Now, this guide is meant for beginners or intermediate players looking to quickly pick up a new character, so expect a brief rundown to jumpstart your learning and get you playing some matches. We will keep the technical lingo, especially frames, to a minimum, but you should still have some knowledge on basic standardized Tekken terms, especially notations and terms for various game mechanics. In other words, this guide is meant for beginners, but you should already know a little bit about the game, just not necessarily the character. There are some links in the video description below to help you out. Similarly, make note that we are on version 2.01 as of this recording. Update videos will be made when newer versions with balance changes come out, so be on the lookout for those as this video ages. But enough of all that, let us begin. We'll start with the obvious, running 3-2. It's clearly her best move. It's fast, it's a knee into an elbow, so a lot of parries won't work on it. It jails, so although the elbow is high, you can't duck it if you block the knee. It hits hard and can either splat for a big combo or knock down in a way that feeds right back into itself should your opponent get up. And at +5 on block, you can do really whatever you want afterwards. It's really not a secret why this is so good. And honestly, you can play a simple game with just this and a couple choice lows and pokes. So with that, let's talk lows. Down back 4 is great for a stick and move style. It'll only give advantage on counter hit, and there is a decent amount of risk on block, but it's fast, it does a healthy chunk of damage, it has good range, and it goes under highs, so it covers a lot of ground. Down 4 and down back 3 are a couple of lighter pokes, but that have string stuff for more cover. Down back 3-4 is actually essential to let loose now and then since it's a counter hit launcher, and down back 3 jails on hit, so although the second hit is a high, if you at least snag a hit, you shouldn't have to worry about getting launched. Down back 3 by itself goes into back turn with advantage should you want to play back turn games, and we'll talk about back turn in a minute. Now, the only heavy low that she has from standing is down 1+2, which is definitely slow and reactable, but it goes under highs and you can hide it a little bit by playing some timing games. It also acts like a grab, so if it gets blocked, there's a little break animation and she takes 17 damage. That's certainly a lot better than getting launched, which is typical for lows of that speed. The other thing you can do though is full crouch down forward 3. On paper, this is objectively her best low. It's fast, it has great range, it hits just as hard as down back 4, but it's not quite as risky. It does give advantage on hit, and on counter hit, you get enough for a free follow-up. Plus, she stays in crouch for the duration of the move. Getting to crouch shouldn't be a problem either, since you can keep it very simple and you can either raw duck or use an attack like down 1 or down back 2, both of which recover crouch in a situation that's good to follow up with the low. And if you need a mix, while standing 4-1 is a great quick safe combo with a third hit for cover. While standing 1 is a safe counter hit launcher, almost as fast as while standing 4, and is another move that stays crouching the whole time, so very good against highs. While standing 2 is your typical quick but unsafe mid launcher, or you can even do while standing 3, a slower but powerful mid that will take you to your lib stance with advantage on block. Now, before we talk about lib, let's talk about the standing pokes, because Azu has some really strong stuff in that category. Down forward 1-4 is easily the best. It starts with your typical safe quick mid check, but unlike most down forward 1 strings, the follow-up is not only a normal hit combo, it jails. So if they block down forward 1, they have to block the kick. Then on top of that, you have 2 fairly safe string enders for more cover, both of which can produce nasty results if your opponent is swinging or even just ducking. Much like running 3-2, you can spam down forward 1 for days. Otherwise, 2-1 is a safe high mid with an ender for cover. Her 1-1 is a safe high mid that goes to stance on hit. Then she has a bunch of powerful mid highs like 3-3, 4-1, forward 3-2, forward 4-4, down forward 4-1, down 2-3, and back 1-1. Now, a lot of those do have a duck risk, but many have mid-enders, so you can switch to catch duckers, or you can just poke with the first hits, which are all safe, and then try to bait out a response. Either way, try to use a good mix between them, since the more your opponent has to think about, the better. Okay, so now let's go back to lib. Lib is unique in that it will auto-evade highs and auto-counter lows, and that can really hurt players mindlessly swinging nothing against it. Just note that at least without meter, the manual lib transition takes a moment to enter stance, so you can't use it like a traditional reversal. Regardless, once you're in stance, you can keep it to a simple mix game with lib 2, which is a very fast, safe mid engager, or either lib 3, which is a quick low entry to back turn, similar to down back 3 we mentioned earlier, or lib down 4-4, which is your riskier but more powerful low combo. Now you don't have to ignore the other options. For instance, the jab string is powerful, lib 1+2 is risky but can sneak under highs and give you a full launch in return, and lib 4-1 is similar to your while standing 4-1 but can yield a launch on counter hit. And all of these can be in play after something like 1-1, since you have tons of advantage when a transition move hits. However, don't feel like you have to overload yourself with options when you can fall back to the simple mix game. Similarly, we can say the same thing about our back turn. Back turn 3 is your big low here and will actually take you back to lib. Back turn 2-2 is your safe mid hit, or you can mess around with the interrupt options like jabs, back turn 4, back turn 1+2, or even back turn 3+4 to counter low pokes. Again, it's about how deep in the bag of tricks you want to go, and the manual entry to back turn is fairly sneaky since the little jump can give the impression that you're doing an attack, which in turn can give you some initiative there. Before we end this section, a quick shout out to some simple pressure tools. Back 3, forward 3+4, and while standing 3. All give advantage on block, and the latter two will take you to lib as well. Back 2 isn't a bad pressure tool either, and it's homing, it's just a high, so it comes with a duck risk. In any case, Azu's offensive theme is that despite an array of options, she can always come back to a reliable poke and mix-up game with just a handful of tools. So it's really up to you how many tricks you want to throw out. Otherwise, keep up the running 3-2 and down forward 1 spam and sneak in the occasional low. First, a word on the basic punishing tools. Her jab punish is really strong since you have either 1-2 or 1-1, depending on if you want damage and potentially a wall splat, or if you want stance follow-ups. 4-1 gives you a quick punish into back turn, again for stance games. 3-3 gives you a quick longer range option for damage, then you can start launching with down forward 2. Similarly, from crouch, while standing 4-1 is definitely above average damage at that speed, and that's all you need until again you can start launching with while standing 2. Now for whiffs, down forward 2 should be the go-to since it's quick, has great range, and will launch crouchers. But keep in mind a lot of her strings have great range too, like forward 3-2, down forward 4-1, or down 2-3. They just won't give you that full launch. If you need to go over lows, up forward 4 is the gold standard. It's a safe mid launcher with great range and it hits grounded. But you can use it as a mix-up tool against duckers too if you want. If you need to go under highs, down back 4 is decent, but down forward 2 isn't bad for that either. 1+2 is solid here as well. The crouch is only at the beginning of the animation, so keep that in mind, but it's still a safe, rangy attack that hits hard. Down back 1+2 has more crouch to it. It comes with more risk as well, but will always give the launch. And it's another thing that hits grounded, so good for Oki too. But keep in mind that her general counter hit tools are really strong. We already mentioned 1+2. Down forward 3 is a safe mid counter hit launcher. Down 1 is exceptionally safe, and as we mentioned earlier, it can lead to crouch games on block. Down back 3-4 is fairly low risk for a counter hit launcher that starts low. Up forward 2 is a fun side jumping attack. It does have to hit straight on for the counter hit launch, but it's still good either way. We mentioned while standing 1 and full crouch down forward 3 earlier as well, since those remain in crouch the whole time. She even has up forward 1, which has a built-in punch parry. Speaking of, she has one of the best armor moves in the game with forward 1+2. It is high, but it's fast, it's incredibly safe, has good range, and it's an engager. Otherwise, you can of course use the universal burst for armor. Lastly, a quick mention of the fun stance stuff. Since you can't block in lib or back turn, you have to rely on some built-in options. Lib, of course, auto evades or counters highs and lows, but you also have the option to sidewalk, which isn't terrible, or you can walk back and forth. So you have some mobility there. Up forward 1 and up forward 2 are also available in stance. With back turn, you have a special sidestep option, a special duck option, or a runaway option, which will actually evade mids. They aren't the best options in the world, but they can throw people off and maybe get you out of a jam now and then. Jumping right into heat, a few things change for Azu when the meter is running. First, her lib entry is faster, which of course makes everything she can do out of it better since the interaction is happening quicker. Second, the lib high auto evade turns into an auto hit, and the low auto counter turns into a full launcher, so those built-in options get better. Lastly, she gains some new lib stuff. One is a completely new move, down 3+4, which is a safe mid launcher that goes under highs. It does burn meter when you use it, so keep that in mind. You also gain 3 new new lib transitions from back 2, back 112, and lib 12. You'll burn meter here as well by using these transitions, but they give you sizable advantage on block and you get a full launch on hit. Back 2 is probably the strongest in that sense because it gives a vital homing attack a launch, although the lib 121 is strong too since that's your fastest move in stance. In any case, these all can burn your meter quickly, but she's definitely scarier when she has them. Also, if you decide to burn your meter with the heat smash, note that it ends with her in lib. Wrapping up, we didn't mention her grabs because she just doesn't have many, but it is worth noting that she has crouch grabs. They are unbreakable in Tekken 8, and for her, they are also engagers, so you can use them as mix-up options since they're incredibly quick, or even in some guaranteed situations like after counter hit full crouch down forward 3. As usual for these guides, we will skip juggles since there are so many combo videos out there you can watch, but I did throw a link in the video description below where you can find some samples. So lastly, since there's not really anything special about her super, it's time for the honorable mention towards chip damage, which honestly really just boils down to running 3-2 since that does a whopping 10 damage of chip. Given how exploitable that move is, you can stack up the chip really fast with it. It also works as an incentive for them to start challenging you on block, which is a situation that's definitely in your favor. She has some other moves that do chip, but this is the one they really have to worry about, so be sure to abuse it. This brings us to the end of our guide. I hope you found this succinct and helpful. Feedback is always welcome, so feel free to toss a comment down below, respectfully of course. Be mindful that in-depth guides that go over more specific details of move attributes and strategies will be saved for intermediate guides in the not so distant future. So be on the lookout for those. Lastly, big thanks to our patrons. You guys are the best and that support means more than you know. But to everyone, stay safe and we'll see you next time.